and it lights up.
Testing.
Oh, wait.
That wasn't very loud. There
Here
you
we
go.
go. Good morning, and welcome to the Tuesday, October 31st Board of County Commissioners meeting. We begin every meeting with an invocation and the Pledge to Allegiance, and today we have Pastor John from Calvary Fellowship Fountain Valley. If you'd like to come forward, and if you'd like to, please feel free to join us in the prayer. And Mayor Thompson, would you like to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We want to extend our heartfelt thank you to Mayor Sharon Thompson, the esteemed members of the Fountain City Council, the city manager, and of course all of the dedicated staff for welcoming us this morning. We appreciate your hospitality and the time to visit a little bit this morning. The Commissioners on the Road program has been a very valuable platform for facilitating meaningful conversation with residents from across the county. It's enabled us to engage directly at more convenient locations and help them just get to know those in their respective districts as well as all of the commissioners. This initiative has not only facilitated connections, but fostered collaboration with residents and enhancing the understanding of the issues that are important to our residents. While this marks our final Commissioners on the Road meeting for this year, residents can continue to stay engaged and connect with us through various channels. Our Enhanced Citizen Connect app provides a convenient platform for citizens to contact commissioners and share their concerns, ensuring that their voices are heard. Additionally, we offer the Courier newsletter to keep residents informed about county services, programs, and events, as well as our Beyond the Dais podcast to explore these avenues and stay connected. You can find all of that information at elpasoco.com. Once again, we want to say thank you for hosting us here, and Mayor Thompson, if you'd like to come forward and welcome us and share any thoughts that you have.
Thank you so much for coming down here, especially on probably one of the coldest days of the year. Really appreciate that. I'd like to take a minute and introduce some people that are with us today. I noticed Representative Bradfield just stepped out in the hallway for just a moment, but I'm sure she'll be right back, and she's our state representative that represents us in this area. We also have Mayor Pro Tem Tamara Estes with us today. We have Councilmember Deetra Duncan and Councilmember Richard Applegate. So we're all here to welcome you today to the City of Fountain and invite you to hang around. We have some great businesses down here in town. We hope you'll take a few minutes on your way back up, stop by a local coffee shop or something to grab something on your way out the door, because we're always going to promote ourselves, right? We also have our police chief, Christiani, here with us today, and our fire department chief, Chief Graham, here today, and our city manager, I may or may not be in the room, but he was here. And I'd like to thank Steve Schleicher for coming down last week and addressing a ballot issue with our citizens. He did a great job addressing a little mistake on our ballots and really giving our citizens the comfort, I believe, that it's all well in hand and that his department is doing a great job taking care of that issue as far as things being counted correctly. And do you have any questions for us while you're here about anything going on in Fountain? We do have a ballot measure on the ballot, ballot measure 2B, and I'm hoping all our citizens are going to take time and educate themselves about that for possibly joining Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority. So, that's on the ballot and it's out there, and get out and vote, everybody.
Great. Commissioner Williams.
I just wanted to encourage your voters to vote for your ballot issue 2B to join the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority. This is the way El Paso County, the city of Colorado Springs, Calhoun and Rama and Manitou Springs all get road projects done because CDOT is not quite that fast getting other projects. So it is well worth, since you're spending your sales tax at your Walmart and at your businesses, it's well worth considering it seriously to vote on behalf of that issue.
Thank you. We do have information on the city website as far as like the surveys we did with the citizens, and they can read all that information. So, thank you.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Yes, thank you very much. Let's see if this is close enough. I would encourage the citizens to vote for that ballot measure as well. Something that I think has been interesting to me that I've learned about the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority is that it's not been every year that CDOT has been doing such a great job down in our community here as far as funding roads. It's we're in a great relationship presently with CDOT, but there have been times in the past when we have not been getting many projects from the state on our roads down here, but with PPRTA, because that's local money that stays local and doesn't go to Denver first, this is money that stays dedicated to our local roads. So that's one of the other great pieces of value of PPRTA. It's local tax dollars for local roads, and it's been very effective, particularly in the years that have been lean from CDOT projects.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Vice, and thanks again, Mayor Thompson, for coming out, for hosting us today. We have a great relationship with the city of Fountain, and all these years that Commissioner Vanderwerf and I, since way back when, getting to work with the great city of Fountain and all the collaboration, a lot of important issues that had come up, since the PFAS situation with multiple water districts down here, and a lot of the other issues that we've supported each other on, a lot of the military support for our local bases as well, is clearly something that we've always highlighted as important, and the collaboration between us and the city has been outstanding, and I appreciate all the great support you've always offered and lent to us as a county. Thank you.
Yeah, the county has been a great partner with the PFAS contamination that we had down here. We were at the time we were the largest populated area that was contaminated with the PFAS, and the county came to the table because some of the water providers are in the county and not within the city of Fountain, and really been good partners with that. And I've even sent a few questions back to Washington, D.C. with Commissioner Gonzalez over the years when you guys are taking your trips down there. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Mayor Thompson,
you.
for all of your welcoming comments and for having us here in your beautiful facility. We really appreciate that and look forward to continuing that partnership.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to item 3.
Item number 3 is staff emergency items, and I'm unaware of any staff emergency items today.
Item 4.
Item number 4 is changes, postponements, and notice of the next meeting. I'm unaware of any changes or postponements to today's agenda, and the next meeting will be Tuesday, November 7th at 9:00 a.m. at the Centennial Hall Auditorium.
Great, thank you. And before we move on to the consent calendar, we do need a motion to excuse Commissioner Bremer. Unfortunately, she had an unavoidable conflict this morning, so if we have a motion on that.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, and it's been moved and seconded. We'll take a vote. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
And the vice chair votes aye. That passes 4-0. And on to item 5.
Item number 5 is the consent calendar, inclusive of items 5A through 5C5.
Is there anyone here to speak on any item on the consent calendar? Hearing none, are there any questions or comments up here? Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair. With regard to the consent calendar, I'll be voting in favor of it, but I would just want to mention items 5A and 5B. There was a piece of legislation that was enacted by the state that is actually taking away from local government the management of ambulance permits. This is being done presently by El Paso County, and the rulemaking hearing for that is being conducted by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, CDPHE. That rulemaking hearing will be at the December meeting for CDPHE, and I am a voting member on that board. I just consider it unfortunate that the state legislature passed such a law, because what they're doing is they're centralizing ambulance permit issuance at the state level. And once again, we're going to suffer from a one-size-fits-all set of policies. And this is a very unfortunate kind of circumstance. Now, to be fair, in some of the rural counties that have a minimal number of citizens, and we do have some counties that have a really small number of citizens, this kind of law might be of benefit to them to have the state manage that instead of themselves. But in a county like El Paso County that has the resources to manage these ambulance permits locally, we've been able to issue those permits and work with our ambulance services, I think, in a very thoughtful way. But that authority is going to be taken away from us, and so I just consider that to be unfortunate. If you are concerned about this, you might want to consider testifying, because you can testify. You can sign up in advance and testify against or also for the rulemaking, and get an opportunity to review the words that CDPHE intends on creating regarding this particular rule. And I just wanted to make mention of that before we vote on the consent calendar this morning. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, for the time.
Okay, any other comments? Looks like Commissioner Gonzalez.
Move to approve items 5A through 5C5.
Second.
Seconded. We'll start with Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
And the vice chair votes aye. That carries 4-0. And we are on to item 6.
Item number 6 is the proclamation recognizing Veterans Day in the United States and Remembrance Day in Canada. Eugenio Gonzalez Jr., Commissioner, Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Vice. And I think we have a couple people here, including Ms. Kate Hatton, on behalf of the proclamation. So I move to approve a proclamation recognizing Veterans Day in the United States and Remembrance Day in Canada. Whereas the 11th of November, 1918, marked the cessation of combat in what was then the most destructive and far-reaching war in history, and whereas, following World War I, the Congress of the United States officially recognized that the recurring anniversary of this date, which would come to be known as Armistice Day, should be commemorated with thanksgiving and prayer and exercises designed to perpetuate peace through goodwill and mutual understanding between nations, and whereas, Congress amended its earlier legislation in 1954 by striking out the word armistice and inserting in its place the word veterans, thereby expressing its intent that November 11th should be a day to honor American veterans of all wars, and whereas the freedoms we enjoy today are protected by our men and women in the United States Armed Forces. These protectors of liberty put their lives on the line every day to safeguard our way of life, and whereas Canada, our neighbor, our partner in defense, and our trusted ally, honors its military on this day also, calling it Remembrance Day, and whereas families in both countries have stood by proudly as their sons, daughters, husbands, and wives answered the call of duty. And whereas we who have benefited from their painful and many sacrifices are grateful and appreciative of their selfless efforts. And whereas more than 100,000 veterans and their families call the Pikes Peak region home, and all residents of El Paso County, Colorado should join in the pride and appreciation to all veterans. And whereas El Paso County Veteran Services has proudly served 63,077 veterans, surviving spouses, and their dependents in the past year. And whereas it is our privilege to also recognize the local veteran service organizations for their service to the community and their unwavering support of veterans and their families through the various programs they administer or sponsor. Now, therefore, the Board of El Paso County Commissioners recognizes November 11, 2023 as Veterans Day in El Paso County and encourages all El Paso County citizens to extend the heartfelt greeting, "Thank you for your service," to each and every veteran they meet. Done this 31st day of October 2023 in Fountain, Colorado, the Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, Kemi Bremer, Chair, Carrie Geithner, Vice Chair, Lojinos Gonzalez Jr., Stan Vanderwerth, and Holly Williams, members, and attested to by Steve Schleicher, County Clerk and Recorder.
Second.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. Do we have, is either Kate Hatton here that would like to speak, or Pete Carey, if you'd like to? Yeah, anybody who'd like to, yeah, come on up.
Director of Homefront Military Network, and partner in crime here, Marshall Bosworth. Homefront Military Network, as you know, is a collaborative. We have 49 partner agencies that serve the 100,000 plus veterans in this region. And we're just so grateful to the county for your support. The County Veteran Service Office does a great job. Pikes Peak Workforce Center does a great job of helping our veterans. And our goal is to really wrap around our military and veteran families. And family members are important to serve too. So as you all know, as you serve as well. So I just want to say thank you for the support of the county. Thank you for all you do. Thank you to the County Veteran Service Office, who makes a big difference in the lives. And we're just here to continue to collaborate and work together to support our military and veteran families. And it's a great place to do this here in Fountain, you know, with close proximity to Fort Carson, as well as Peterson Space Force Base, home of Space Command. I know there's an important game on Saturday, but there's also a parade. But parade might be. But anyway, so just thank you. Appreciate the support and appreciate all you do. And I'll turn it over to Marshall.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Vice, Commissioners. Thank you for having us here today. Thank you to the City of Fountain for having us here today. I appreciate again this year the proclamation honoring the veterans that live in our community and also their family members. This is a huge military community. Everybody sacrifices to serve our country, and they keep sacrificing and serving even after they get out. So I really appreciate this proclamation. I appreciate Kate, our partner, being here with Homefront Military Network. And it's great to be in the City of Fountain because there's a large number of active duty and veterans and their families that live down here. So it's really great to be able to do this here today. And I just really appreciate the support that you guys are always providing to my office and to the citizens and veterans of our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Do we have comments from up here? Commissioner Vanderwerf?
Yes, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I think it's great that every year we honor Veterans Day and the veterans and their families, and today is no exception. It's also just amazing how much of a veterans town, how much of a military town we really are here, especially, you know, El Paso County as well, because between veterans, their families, active duty, and their families, approximately 1 out of every 3 people in the entire county of 750,000 is or was connected to the Department of Defense. This really, really is a military place. And I also got to serve honorably for 28 years. I served in Europe, and I actually served in Europe during the Cold War. Actually got to see the real Checkpoint Charlie. And that to me remains as a symbol about what oppression from government can really be. I saw it in person, and it was a terrible and nasty thing, and it's something that we need to continue to fight for freedom, and that's what veterans have been doing for us for hundreds of years, is fighting for our freedoms. So I also served in Iraq, and I also served in Asia. And everywhere I went, I ran into people who just really loved America and loved the veterans that we had serving overseas. And I'll tell a quick story about a gentleman that I met in Korea that was running an orphanage for abandoned children, and he was doing that just about a block away from the military base that I lived on in Busan. But it turned out that during the Korean War, his parents had been killed, and the service members, the American service members, picked him up, and he was one of these kids that lived on an American base, was fed there, clothed, and lived there, and worked with our service members. And one of the amazing things about this story is that during that time, he also became a Christian. He decided he wanted to become a minister and help other Korean citizens. So then move fast forward to about a decade ago, and I meet this gentleman, and he was doing what he was doing, serving other Korean citizens because of what the American service members did for him during the Korean War to keep him alive. That's the kind of goodwill that our veterans have delivered around the world on behalf of the nation. And I just have story after story after story of this, of people I've met around the planet who have been so grateful to our military personnel that have served overseas and helped them to be free, but also helped them just to live their lives. So I just thought I would tell that quick story. And he was helping to save orphan kids in Korea. And I just thought that was pretty awesome. So I also want to thank all of the different organizations in the community here. We have a lot of them. We've mentioned a couple, but the Veterans Office for the county. Thank you, Marshall, for you and the team for all the great work you do helping veterans here in the community. Thank you to the Air Force, the AFMN network. Thank you for that. And also for Mount Carmel. You all do a really great job. And I appreciate all that everybody does to honor our veterans and help to take care of them because of the service they've given to the nation. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes, I'm just looking around the room, and I can see so many individuals here tied to military families, from Councilmember Applegate. I know Brenda Miller is here, and she does some things for the Space Force. And I just see, and then, of course, Mr. Carey and Mr. Bosworth are here. I imagine each one of us could stand up and say that we have a tie to a veteran somehow. My tie is to my father, who served in the Korean War. He came through Camp Carson, went to the Greyhound races up on North Nevada, and he was actually a cook in the Korean War because he only got called out on the very last day, right before they declared the war over, to actually have to carry a gun and go out. My sweet father could barely even kill an animal, let alone another person, but he would have if he had to. So I'm always proud of him. Lost him a few years ago, but that's my connection. And I love Veterans Day. It is a wonderful day of celebration for our community, and go Air Force, beat Army.
Okay, so our tradition, our tradition is that we let the individual who moved the proclamation speak last. So I'll just go ahead and make my comments. That caught me a little off guard there as a Army spouse over here. But I wanted to mention a few things. Of course, thank you to all of our veterans, and we have veterans here, and as Commissioner Williams said, most of us have some sort of connection, and incredibly grateful for the sacrifice, and those are easy words to say, and yet they mean so very, very much, that word sacrifice. I wanted to mention I appreciate that the parade was brought up for this weekend. Unfortunately, this year I am not going to be able to attend. It is actually my husband's drill weekend because he is still serving, and so I will be doing mom duties on Saturday, but nonetheless, am very grateful that we continue to have that celebration with the entire community for the Veterans Day Parade. But that word sacrifice means a whole lot. And the just daily changes that our veterans' families and our veterans have to deal with long after their service is tremendous. And so not only would I ask that we all take the time to thank our veterans, but I also like to add a question, which is, what do you want Americans to know about your service? What is important for you? You know, you've given so much. What do Americans need to know and remember? And really take that to heart. And I've heard a lot of very interesting things if I've asked those questions of veterans. And oftentimes it's about not taking things for granted. It's easy to do when we are not directly connected to a conflict or something that's going on. But I think that's a great way for us to continue to honor their service, is to ask them what they want us to know. And I just, also because Commissioner Bremer is not here, her husband is also a veteran, so just wanted to mention that as well. But I will go ahead and turn it over to Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Vice. And so I just want to thank everybody that came out today for this proclamation. Kate, I know your organization does great things. There's others out there as well, Mount Carmel. Next Tuesday, make sure you support your local American Legions, VFWs, other national organizations that will help participate in a lot of the events as well. I see a lot of veterans out there. I see some mothers and fathers as well of veterans as well. And thank you for all your service and sacrifice, whether you served or whether your family members are serving or have served. Most people do know I came here for the Air Force Academy. I won't mention the game, although that will be on this weekend as well. But a lot of people don't know my dad served. I mean, he moved over to the United States from Mexico, and he served 2 years here at Fort Carson. And so I did buy a brick, and so his name is up on the veteran wall over at down at the, I know we call it the different names, the Veterans Park, Mayor's Park, Caboose Park, but I have my father's name up there on the veterans wall. And so proud of all the service and dedication to our country that my family members have done, as well as my own service in the military, and appreciate all the sacrifices they've done, the hard work, and that of their families. Again, highlight all those events coming up next Tuesday and this Saturday. I will be in attendance to the Colorado Springs parade, and look forward to seeing lots of faces there, and then on events next Tuesday as well. And I believe that's all I have.
Okay, if there are no additional comments, I think we are ready for a vote. So we'll start with Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
And the Vice Chair votes aye. That passes 4-0. And if we would like to do a photo, we'll take a brief recess.
And I will call this meeting of the Board of County Commissioners back to order, and we just completed item number 6. We are now on item number 7.
Item number 7 is comments by elected officials and commissioner liaison reports. 7A, Clerk and Recorder, 2023 Coordinated Election Update. Steve Schleicher, Clerk and Recorder.
Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Schleicher, El Paso County. It's a very special thing to be a veteran or active duty member here in the Security Widefield area. We all have stories where myself came here in 1975, where my dad is the retired Sergeant Major out of the 43rd Support Group. But the other reason why is Commissioner Williams brings up the Air Force Army game, and I was looking for a diversion to get out of here before a fight starts. Commissioners, the reason why I come before you today is to sit there and bring you up to date on the coordinated election. We are extremely busy in the office, things going extremely well. So with that being said, Blake, can you go to the next slide, please? So here are some voter reminders. Is after October 30th, which was yesterday, voters need to use in-person services at voter service and polling centers, so our VSPCs, where here they could register to vote or update their voter record, vote on an ADA ballot marking device, and also get a replacement ballot. As of yesterday, we have 5 VSPCs open, where they're at the Citizen Service Center, UCCS, downtown Centennial Hall, our Southeast branch, which is the Powers Motor Vehicle Office, the Fort Carson branch, which is the Fort Carson DMV, and the North branch, which is our Union Town Center Department of Motor Vehicle Office as well. We will have 4 additional VSPCs open November 6th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. These will be open. And we'll be open Saturday, November 4th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we will be shutting down our motor vehicle, driver's license, and recording services at our Union Town Center for elections. The Monday before November 6th and on Election Day, all 10 VSPCs will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So there is a list of locations where you can go onto the website of epcvotes.com and also on the ballot instruction page. So here are some reminders. Commissioners, I'm always emphasizing vote early. And that is some very important information, and I'll share with you as to why. Some election reminders: sign your ballot envelope before returning. So right now, if a ballot comes in and it is not signed going through the signature verification process, we reach out to that voter. However, if that voter waits to the very last minute to cure that ballot, their vote may not count. It must be received to us by 7 p.m. on Election Day. And for any questions or concerns, they could reach out directly to my office at 719-575-VOTE or go to the website epcvotes.com. All right, Blake, next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so as of yesterday morning at 8:26 a.m., we are at 9.3%. Total 44,071 ballots have been cast. And here is a breakdown of the citizens that have voted within those districts. And commissioners, we are, like I said, extremely busy. These numbers are going to be changing dramatically throughout the week. Here are the accepted ballot statistics that are coming in, and also the use of our VSPCs. Our VSPCs will be used quite heavily throughout the week, also up to Election Day. So those numbers, as I come before you next Tuesday, are going to be changing quite a bit as well. But like I said, it's extremely busy up in the office. We have over 200 election judges throughout the community that are assisting us, either working at the VSPCs, in the signature verification process, and now also the tabulation process. So are there any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, that last slide, I thought was of interest. We do see people wanting to vote on the last day or the second to last day, and so it gets very heavy. Again, just recommendation for people to vote, get out there, vote, vote, vote. But you don't have to wait till the last day. I know we've heard things from in the past, the last couple of years, sometimes at the state level, saying, it's so crowded that last day, we need to add another week to elections. Well, this is a good slide of why that's not the fix. People are still going to wait till that last day or second to last day to vote. So when I see some of those kind of recommendations, please, this is the kind of data that says it's not that we need more days to vote. It's clear that people just like to vote on that last day, which is fine. I just want anybody to vote. But if you can vote early, it makes sense to make it easier to vote and to tabulate. So oftentimes we get late counts on delays to those first votes because people are waiting to that last day. And again, that's fine, but please understand you may have a wait in those last days. And so I recommend people to vote a little earlier.
Hey, Commissioner, I'm glad you said that. And some of the things that I have seen over the last week are individuals where they are a married couple and the husband signs the wife's ballot envelope and the wife signs the husband's ballot envelope, and it does get caught. Because as we're going through the signature verification process, and it's also there on the scan of the envelope, but we reach out to the voters to come into the office and to cure the ballot. But if you wait to the last minute, is the possibility of your vote not counting because of simple mistakes like that.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm actually, looking at this chart, I'm actually struck by how small the numbers are for in-person ballots cast. Now, granted, to Commissioner Gonzalez's point, it's not voting day, so kind of the historic traditional, concept about in-person voting is on voting day, but look at how many days in advance of that vote you can actually come in and vote. And there really aren't very many people taking advantage of that at all.
Not at all, Commissioner. In fact, again, I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting myself and my office. And one of the things is a lot of our ballots are being received by our 39 24/7 secure ballot boxes. And I have been nonstop receiving nothing but accolades in regards to our new camera system. Is citizens now have the ability to go out there and look at the video on our website where they can pull up the ballot box in their neighborhood or all of them all at once and see what's going on. But they sincerely appreciate that. But I'm looking at right now, 95% of our votes are being received as far as mail-in and the secure ballot box process.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting about it is because there's, like you said, 44,000 that have voted, that also is an indicator of the big reliance on those ballot boxes and also mail-in that the citizens are relying on. And I think it's important because it's notable the safeguards that we have in place. So you have to register in advance, you have to submit your signature at that time, then that signature is compared, and you've got machines that can compare those signatures and actually sometimes catch when it's an inappropriate signature. And I know that there are other states that don't do that don't have that signature verification, and I consider that to be unfortunate because that, I think, produces greater opportunities in those other states for some challenges in voting, but I'm glad we've got that capability here. And it's interesting how many citizens rely on it today.
Absolutely. Well, and Commissioner, when we sit there and we go through the signature verification process, is we go through that twice, where it goes through tier 1 to sit there and take a look at the signature, and then we pass by again and we take a look. And if it doesn't pass through tier 2, then what we do is we elevate that to a bipartisan team, a Democrat and a Republican judge that will sit down and review that signature. If they both do not agree on that signature, that's when we reach out to the voter to come in and cure their ballot.
Commissioner Williams.
Are we past the date when a citizen can mail in their ballot?
Absolutely. So yesterday, Commissioner, which is a good question, was the deadline to mail your ballot back in to ensure it is received on Election Day by 7 p.m.
Okay, and so I just wanted to reiterate two things you said. One, are the ballot boxes and the camera system, there's 2 ballot boxes in this area, the Fountain Creek Park and the Fountain Police Department. Those cameras will take a picture of you when you put your ballot in, so I smiled up at the camera and waved this year. And so they're very secure, and you can drop your ballots off there very easily. I also wanted to reiterate about the signature verification. This is something that is greatly needed in our state. And I know that our current Secretary of State is trying to eliminate the signature verification. When my daughter was in high school, she had a beautiful signature, as many high school students do. Then she spent a summer working at the motor vehicle office and ended up with a signature that was just a simple, fast attorney's signature, like that. And so when she voted for me, I hope, in the county commissioner election, her ballot was immediately rejected. And she lived in Princeton at the time. She had to cure it. And so those signature verifications are so important that we keep that in our system, even if there are efforts to remove the signature verification. That is the way that we can tell that it is you who have voted. And if you get rid of it, then we do have greater chances of ballot harvesting and greater problems with our elections. It's one of the most secure systems that we can have. And if your signature's off, our election judges highlight it. So please always support the signature verification process.
Thank you.
Awesome. Commissioners, happy Halloween, and hope you all have a great day. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are still on item number 7. We'll move on to Commissioner Liaison reports first. Item number 7. We completed 7A, and now for our regular Commissioner Liaison reports. We'll begin with Commissioner Williams.
Okay, we had a fantastic tour of the jail on Friday. It is actually my least favorite responsibility as a commissioner, is to tour the jail. And it was, the changes, our energetic staff that are occurring in the jail are simply fantastic. Sheriff Roybal, Under Sheriff Kramer, and I'd like to really compliment them on their efforts. And I'd like to also compliment Cassandra Sebastian and Mary Elizabeth Fabian for assisting us in the tour. I was very, very impressed as to how well our jail is functioning, and even the morale of the staff is much improved there. So, second, yesterday we had a special CCI meeting to discuss some options to Proposition HH if it does not pass, and they were interesting options that have been proposed by the minority leadership in the state legislature. Additionally, this week, we usually just go through our schedule. I have the Pikes Peak Rural Water Authority on Wednesday, which involves many of the water departments from this area, and also the Pretrial Services Community Advisory Board. And then on Thursday, I have the Statewide Transportation Advisory Committee, and Friday, the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments, in addition to some other events. So those are the many different duties a commissioner has, some of the different committees we serve on, and those are usually highlighted each week during our busy schedules. Thank you.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And just as a reminder to my fellow colleagues, next week I will not be present at the Board of County Commissioners meeting. I'll be on a holiday vacation with my wife and mother-in-law. And it was mentioned earlier this morning, but I just would like to reiterate it, and that is for any citizen that has not had a chance to look up Citizens Connect, just go ahead and pull that up and possibly use it. It is a way for you to identify to El Paso County potholes or requests for other services, and it's increasing in use. It's a great tool for everybody, but I would encourage you, if you haven't used it, just consider the idea of taking a look at it and maybe put it to use. We look forward to a lot of citizens using it, a lot more than now, although many citizens are now using that capability. And I appreciate Commissioner Williams' comments with regard to the jail tour that we all took on Friday. It's a very interesting place to go to, and I appreciate the dedicated service of all of the county employees that are there running the jail. But I am particularly pleased that they recreated the Veterans Ward in there for veterans that are incarcerated. I think that just was really awesome. And of course, we went into those wards and spoke with those that were incarcerated and got to meet with several of them and actually enjoy that, listening to them a little bit and talking to them. And they were all very, very friendly folks. So it was nice to be there. I also a few days ago, attended the Peak Vista Community Breakfast, and that was a fundraiser for Peak Vista, which engages deeply in trying to provide additional mental health services across the community. That was a great event. And also late last week, Commissioner Gonzalez and I participated in the Mayor's Fellowship Program, and that was a wonderful event. A lot of participation from citizens that were there, and we gave an opportunity to talk about El Paso County and talk about our great employees and talk about the services that we have. And it continues to be a typical theme that we experience when we live in a community that has a large city like the city of Colorado Springs. Lots of people tend to not recall what services the county offers. So that's a great opportunity to help citizens understand what a county can also offer across the region. So really enjoyed that. And those are my comments for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Lots of stuff going on this week. So very glad I've been able to participate in CCI's call yesterday with Commissioner Williams to discuss those issues. Activities this week or meetings this week, Thursday, we got the Pikes Peak Outdoor Industry Leaders Summit. Also Thursday, the Pikes Peak United Way Elected Officials Roundtable that I'll be attending and participating in. And then Friday, my State Board of Veteran Affairs meeting. We'll be going up to Denver to participate in that with the State Veteran Affairs Committee. And then get to participate in a fun fundraiser this Friday night, also helping our veterans. Mount Carmel's annual Hoedown for Heroes is Friday. And then I will be participating in the Veterans Day activities with the parade this weekend up in Colorado Springs. So again, as we go into next week and Veterans Day next week, looking forward to all the events and all the local activities. And I know Fountain will be having some great events down here as well. So look forward to a very nice week.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Geithner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of key things going on this week. One is I will be speaking at the Eastern Plains Chamber of Commerce tomorrow morning. Looking forward to that. Always a great time to share with the business community, especially out in the Eastern Plains. I will also be meeting with one of the water districts in my district, as well as several constituent meetings and also a PPRTA subcommittee meeting on Friday. So hoping to get in a little bit of catching up around those meetings, as it's been really busy, packed with meetings, and looking forward to getting down to the work inside of the office a little bit this week.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner. As it has been mentioned, the jail tour was eye-opening. That is a statutory requirement, actually, for commissioners who are ultimately responsible for a jail to tour that facility and understand what's going on in it. And you may have noticed on the consent calendar earlier this morning, there was a contract to ensure that our inmates are receiving the health services that they need. And that's just the tip of the iceberg on the logistical changes that have occurred there. I was pleased to see that turnover of our deputies is down, that there is increased safety and ability to prevent injuries on the job of our deputies that are incredibly brave and have tough jobs, tough emotionally, tough physically every day as they really try to protect our citizens. So quite impressed on getting the inside look at what's going on in our criminal justice system. criminal justice center that does interact very well with our criminal justice system, by the way. Thank you for your patience. I know that my colleagues were able to, they knew that I was going to be a little bit late today, but thank you for your patience. I was hoping that I would be here prior to that Veterans Day proclamation vote, and I consulted with our attorney about whether our board rules would allow a recall of that to have a 5-0 vote. But suffice it to say that all 5 of us signed that. Our proclamations are generally, they're unanimously done, and I am sorry that I missed that vote, but please don't mistake that for not having my full support for veterans in our community and those who have given their lives to protect our freedom here. I also have a very busy week. I will just highlight some of the items that my colleagues have not mentioned. We do overlap quite a bit this week. I have a service project for Cause I Love You tomorrow, and then I will be attending a business opening. I also wanted to announce to all of our citizens that there is the Pikes Peak Workforce Center USAA Veterans Job Fair taking place on Wednesday at the Colorado Springs Event Center at 3960 Palmer Park Boulevard. That is generally one of our highest attended job fairs that the Workforce Center does in a year, and they are excellent at making sure that our veterans and their family members who may be new to the community can get plugged in and find a job here in our community. A couple of internal meetings, and then I too will be attending the Pikes Peak United Way Family Success Center ribbon cutting, and this was postponed from almost a year ago as Pikes Peak United Way was making sure that that facility was ready to serve residents of the Southeast, and they ran into some hurdles, and so excited to see this coming up this week, and then of course the elected officials roundtable following that ribbon cutting event. Right after that, El Paso County's Housing Authority is also celebrating 30 years of ensuring that our residents have access to well-planned housing, and that's a non-traditional housing authority. If you've heard me speak on this before, it's a housing authority trust fund, which allows a separately appointed board to help projects get over the hurdle of getting units on the market. We focus a lot on seniors, which we'll hear a little more about later today, and veterans. There are several veterans projects that the Housing Authority Trust Fund has funded over the last few years. So 30 years of that fund being self-sustaining and ability to continue serving our residents in El Paso County. And then I too will be involved in Veterans Day activities this weekend and toting along my 8-year-old who's learning with each of these events what it really means, and meeting wonderful people who have served our nation well, and we want to serve and celebrate them well too, and I will teach it from the very beginning. So with that, thank you for your patience. Again, as I was a bit late today, I also wanted to thank the City of Fountain and our elected officials here. I know that was done at the beginning, but thank you very much. And we look forward to continued wonderful relationships with all of our municipal partners throughout El Paso County. And I would like to now ask if there are any other elected officials that would like to comment. Ms. Bradfield.
I want to thank all of you commissioners for coming down to Fountain here today. My name is Mary Bradfield. I am the state representative for this district, and so I also want to welcome you here. I just want to bring out an appreciation for the veteran activities that are going to be happening in the next week and so. I do want to encourage everyone to find a activity, an activity that you would be able to be able to support and attend. It's so meaningful to the people who are there. Also, I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday, and thank you so much for coming to the City of Fountain. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Representative Bradfield. Are there any other elected officials that would like to make comments at this time? I see a few of you. Okay. With that, we're moving on to item number 9. And item number 8, sorry.
Item number 8 is Community Service Organization Reports. 8A, Innovations in Aging Collaborative Update. Erin Mazzarella, Executive Director, Innovations in Aging Collaborative.
Welcome.
Hello, thank you very much for making time for us today. And special thanks to Ryan Parcell, who has been instrumental in helping navigate our organization in my introduction to the county this year. So I am here to report on what we've been doing in 2023 and let you know kind of where we're headed into 2024. And over the course of this year, I've gotten to know several of the commissioners on this board, and I see you in the community and work that we're doing in Partnership for Older Adults, and I'm so grateful to be working with such a dedicated team in El Paso County. So in 2022, Innovations in Aging Collaborative went into El Paso County communities to listen to citizens, community-based organizations, and government to understand the needs and opportunities to serve aging populations in the county. And that's not just older adults, it's everyone who's growing up and growing older with us here. So this includes understanding the needs of grandchildren and what it means to live in intergenerational homes and building mental health systems that support all of us from birth to death. And after convening the community across the county for a year, in 2023, we launched our action plan, and I'm happy to report that El Paso County has now been included in the National Network of Age-Friendly Communities. And this is 800 communities across the country and many more communities across the world who are committed to age-friendly work. And that means working within communities to understand the needs of everyone living together and getting older together. And I'm so happy to report that the work that we do in the Pikes Peak region is nationally recognized as being forward-thinking, innovative, sustainable, and good for communities. There are a lot of mental, physical health benefits, economic benefits to age-friendly work, because it's about working together, listening across sectors, and understanding how we can improve systems for everyone. So a reminder, our 5 work groups for our age-friendly Pikes Peak plan are age-friendly environment, workforce, housing, health and wellness, which includes physical, mental health, and caregiver support, and social connections. So moving into 2024, we're going to start implementation of this plan. We have an age-friendly Pikes Peak launch happening on the morning of December 8th, which is a Friday. I'll be sending an email to everyone. We would love to see you there to learn more about what the work groups will be doing across El Paso County into 2024. And it's a 5-year plan. So age-friendly work has been communicated sometimes as being a designation. And it's truly not a designation, truly it's a commitment to a 5-year plan that the community comes together, builds an action plan. We have 60 action items to achieve in El Paso County before 2028. I would love to share with all of you our action plan. It's a long plan. It's 50-some pages in there, so it's a lot to go through, but I would love for you all to know what the community has come together to say that we could benefit from if we work together. And I'll include that in your invite to our December 8th event if you're able to join us. So Innovations in Aging has been around since 2009. And since 2015, we have been the local stewards of age-friendly work in Colorado Springs and El Paso County. And we do more than specifically address the age-friendly action plan. It's a big part of what we do, and it's our North Star because it's what the community tells us needs to be done for older adults. But we also work, for example, with the Collaborative Community Response Initiative. This is a nationwide framework for addressing health needs of individuals and communities by developing wraparound services throughout the county. So it's a program that is being overseen by UC Anschutz, and it's funded through CDPHE. Innovations in Aging was identified as one of 5 organizations to run a pilot study from 2023 to 2024. And what we're doing is we're looking at the impact of wraparound, preventative, community health, collaborative services for older adults. So we're going into El Paso County communities, looking at who are the stakeholders in providing healthcare in those communities, because truly, healthcare is not just an agreement between a doctor and a patient. It's a conversation with families and churches and emergency rooms and firefighters who show up when someone calls 911. So looking at who in the community touches the lives of older adults, bringing people to the table to understand how we can improve efficiency of delivery of service, looking at what funding looks like if we would expand this across the county and across the state, where would we need to get funding to bring people together to provide this collaborative healthcare service, and then also looking at a governance model. So who needs to be at the table to help build these effective wraparound healthcare services? And I'm so proud to be part of this work. There are 5 communities in Colorado that are doing this currently. It's happening in El Paso County with the collaboration of Innovations in Aging. We have 2 other healthcare workforce training programs we're going to be bringing to El Paso County into 2024. And what this is educating healthcare providers about the needs of older adults and what it means to serve older adults in rural areas, and not just rural areas because not all of El Paso County is rural, but bringing, again, a collaborative approach, a family-based approach to providing healthcare services effectively, one-on-one. What does it mean to bring telehealth services to older adults? What do they need to be able to connect with their healthcare providers? Some of this work will also be funded by other grants that are coming through CDPHE. And Colorado is currently looking at digital equity, literacy, and inclusion initiative. And this group is probably familiar with this initiative coming from the state. And what they're doing is they're looking at what people need to be able to access the internet. And it comes down to 3 things. You have to have broadband, you have to have a device, and you have to know how to use it. And older adults are frequently, not always, but frequently on the other side of the digital divide. Older adults in rural communities typically don't have financial resources to access devices. They are often not connected to the internet in a sustainable way. And sometimes they don't know how to use a computer to log in to take care of their finances and to attend a doctor's appointment. Another issue that we find when we're working with older adults is security, that we need to work on making sure that older adults know about fraud and scams that can come with access to the internet without understanding it fully. So in 2023, we participated with a research study with the state of Colorado, and we reached out to older adults to see what they needed to use the internet confidently and safely. And I'm very proud of the state of Colorado and how they're doing this research, because this is a federal program. The federal government wants to connect people with the internet and resources available online. And from what I understand, a lot of states are using the internet to understand who doesn't have access to the internet. And Colorado understood that that was maybe a problem. So what we did at Innovations in Aging is we went in person to older adults who did not have access to the internet, and we asked them what it would take to get them online and what they would need. And so as we move into the implementation of the digital inclusion plan in Colorado into 2024, we're helping to bring the voices of older adults who are on the other side of the digital divide to the table so that we can serve them. And the pieces that I see Innovations in Aging be able to help with at the county is that we're helping bring resources from the state level to older adults in the county. And we are helping to connect older adults in the county to what they need for thriving here. So I want to make sure that people have access to what they need to be able to age safely and with health and thrive in place in El Paso County. And it's what I want, because I want to be here mountain biking until I'm in my 80s. So I'm just paving the way for successful aging for everyone. One more thing that I would like to share with the commissioners is in 2021, Innovations in Aging helped to found the Pikes Peak Commission on Aging. And it's housed now under the PPACG and under the Area Agency on Aging. Our partners are here with us today. And as the Executive Director of Innovations in Aging, I serve on the Pikes Peak Commission on Aging, and we are looking for citizens to join the commission. There, we serve a 3-county region, the Commission on Aging. We serve Park, Teller, and El Paso County. And we ask the county commissioners to appoint someone to our commission to speak on behalf of older adults and to be a liaison between the county work and what we're doing for older adults. So we have an appointee from Park and we have an appointee from Teller. We have representation from El Paso County because we have multiple citizens who live in Colorado Springs and Fountain who are a part of the commission, but I would love to have an appointee from El Paso County to join our commission. It could be someone who works in the county or a citizen who you know has a passion for older adult services. And I would like to email all of you to see if there's someone that you think would be a good representative to join our commission. We are currently working from the Community Assessment Survey for older adults, the CASOA. We're pulling from there the best items for us to bring to the county into 2024 and 2025. And so the person who would join us would help us to bring to the forefront at the commission the work for the county that would serve older adults, specifically from this survey of older adults who are living here. So I appreciate all of your support. Thank you. Thank you for helping us build an age-friendly county, and thank you for the work that you do to serve all of us from 8 to 80 here in El Paso County. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Any questions? I have two quick questions for you. Is the action plan available online?
It will be available online soon. We are building a new website, and so hopefully in the next couple weeks it'll be launching.
Excellent. We will look forward to seeing that with the invitation. And then what is the time frame for which you're hoping to have an El Paso County representative on that?
Any time would be wonderful. We meet the last Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
And it would be great to have someone as we move into 2024. So maybe if by the end of this year, if we could find someone, that would be wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you. Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for providing this community report, and I appreciate everything that you all are doing and your connection with PPACG. Hi over there for the Area Agency on Aging. Thank you for all being here. And I think what you're trying to do is fantastic. To your point, some people, some older folks do have trouble getting on the internet, but one of the resources that I just love, I actually enjoy handing them out to people, is the Yellow Book that comes out of PPACG. And I think we just got the new edition because the last time I was in the PPACG office, there was stacks of Yellow Books all over the place. So that's a great resource for people. But I also want to mention, and I thought it was really interesting, I went on, I think it's your website, the agefriendlypikespeak.org Is that part of you all?
So that came out of our first action plan from 2015 to 2021, and it's housed currently under the Area Agency on Aging, but it's a resource guide for aging services in El Paso
Right.
County.
I think that's kind of, if you will, for those that do use the internet, it's kind of like the yellow book on the internet.
Yeah.
And I just picked one of the, there's all kinds of categories on there, but I just picked the housing one, and there's 29 resources listed under housing, under that agefriendlypikespeak.org website. So what's great about all of this is what you all are trying to do, your interconnection with PPACG, and just doing what we can to help folks that have some challenges in their lives that are a little bit older. And it's just, it's awesome. So thanks for what you're doing, and I do appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Commissioner Williams?
I just wanted to thank Jody Foster from the Area Agency on Aging being here this morning. And I think this is always important to discuss about aging. I know that my sister personally my dad took care of my mom, and my sister took care of my dad, both as they came up to their getting in their 90s. And I know my brother spent this past weekend moving his mother-in-law and father-in-law up from Las Vegas into his house. He's got 4 kids, 4 spouses. They have about 5 trucks, and they are overwhelmed. But it's something that is the best resource to take care of family in older age is kids. And it's really hard, even with bigger families, there becomes a lot of fighting in those last days and ages, but I don't think that individuals realize, I think my brother is just now realizing the sacrifice that my sister made, taking care of my parents in their older age and how much care it takes. And it's really important that we respect our elders and that we take care of our elderly population, especially within our own families. And I will always encourage that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams, and I really appreciate that comment because it highlights how age-friendly work is not just for older adults. And when I talk to members of the community about the work that we do, people who've experienced what you're talking about, they frequently understand the value. And it's really about preparing communities, no matter how old we are, because we do have that impact of caring for older adults and caring for younger family members sometimes also.
Commissioner Geithner?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to quickly here, as we're talking about broadband and access, I want to highlight, which I hope you have come across in your work, is that we do have a provider, Mountain View Electric, working to install broadband for every single one of their customers. And so that really will make a tremendous impact. I think we're in year 2 of that, and it obviously takes some time to it'll actually be fiber, and it'll be excellent service to all of their customers, which means all the way out to every corner of some of the most rural areas in El Paso County. So if you have not already connected, exactly the kind of services that are going to be necessary in those areas for our older adults.
Yes, thank you. That's wonderful to hear that people are getting connected, so.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank you for coming out. I know the great work that you and all your partners do for our community and, in this segment of our population, and appreciate all the effort going into making that happen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Well said. So, Commissioner Williams, those were wonderful comments, but I have a feeling it might be the first time Mr. Barker was mistaken for Jody Foster.
I'm so sorry, Jody Barker.
It gave me a chuckle and it was wonderful. But speaking of your
She was my
Innovations in
generation.
Aging team, that does bring just a super quick little introduction of who you have with you so that people know who's working on what and who's with what agency, if you don't mind.
Yes, absolutely. I know David Lord is here, And he's an emeritus board member, and he is currently the chair of our age-friendly committee and the chair of the housing work group in that committee as well. And Jody Barker, I'm going to call him Jody Foster now going forward, is with the Area Agency on Aging. Melissa Martz is here as well. Melissa serves on some of our work groups for the age-friendly committees. And I think, and Paula Levy is here. And Paula serves with us not only in age-friendly work in El Paso County, but she also is on the Pikes Peak Commission on Aging. She's the current member chair there.
Excellent.
Yes. Oh, and I just met this friend this morning. Nick? Ryan. I'm so sorry, Ryan. Melissa, would you introduce Ryan for us?
I think it's important to take a minute just to acknowledge that the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments does have some vistas working with the Council of Governments. And so we have Ryan with us today, and Ryan is working on traffic safety awareness. And so that's a really important age-friendly resource. The Commission on Aging, 2 meetings ago, we had a woman who has early diagnosed Alzheimer's, and she came and shared with the Commission on Aging about how she has issues crossing streets. And is it possible to put signs up that kind of when you have a child who's deaf in the community, you know, you have that sign up, and she's thinking maybe there's an opportunity to put person with Alzheimer's so that people kind of have a little bit more awareness that somebody might have a little bit slower response time or, you know, other things. But anyway, so traffic safety, and we're grateful that we have some vistas and can be talking about those things. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you all for being here. Great work. And we look forward to getting that invitation and an online link.
Okay,
Thank you. Item number 9.
Item number 9 is public comment on items not scheduled on the agenda. This is the public's opportunity to speak on an item that is not scheduled on today's agenda. And Madam Chair, I am aware that Liz Rosenbaum would like to speak today.
Excellent. Thank you. Ms. Rosenbaum, please introduce yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes.
All right. Thank you for your public comment time. So I've been a little active in my community since I've lived here for 23 years, and with it being Veterans Day, my husband is a disabled veteran. My dad was in the Vietnam War, and my son is currently deployed in the Navy, and his wife, my daughter-in-law, my son is on the Colorado submarine, and my daughter-in-law is on a Roosevelt aircraft carrier getting ready for deployment, and then next year she'll be a veteran, and then they'll live in Hawaii. So I have to go over there and visit. Today I'm talking to you about a really great update in the Wigwam Water District. I'm a health insurance broker. I'm on the Women's Chamber of Commerce and Fountain Chamber board member, 20-year rural county resident, PFAS community organizer since 2016. And some of these remarks are just on my own behalf, not representative of the other things that I do. So I've been told I need to clarify things that I'm doing, which is a lot. So on Saturday, just a couple of days ago, we were able to pick up water filters for the Wigwam Water District. There are 425 water taps there, and this is the first time that we've had access to something that is filtering out the toxic PFAS chemicals in our water. The way that we were able to do this is because I made sure to get some water filters thanks to the Sierra Club to get our water tested and to prove how toxic it is. So the way this is funded, we got a $110,000 grant. And the way this happened is through Senate Bill 20-218, and the the 3 elected officials who supported this Senate bill were Senator Pete Lee, Representatives Mark Snyder and Tony Exum, who is now our state senator from El Paso County. They were instrumental in getting this bill passed so we could get the funding. So it took about 3 years to get this money built up for this. We started the process. I've been very active with the CDPHE, so Sierra Mitchell and David Danny. Sierra Mitchell actually came down to work with our water district manager, Keith DeVroe, DeVore, and help him fill out all the paperwork because it's as you know, filling out paperwork for grants is very difficult. So to have someone personally come down from Denver to help him fill it out was fantastic. So with our $110,000 grant, it paid for each person in the water district to get a water pitcher. It looks like a Brita filter, but it's slightly different. So when our water district manager, Keith, was presented with this pitcher and said, hey, this will filter PFAS, he's like, I got to test that first. So we did test it, and it got it all down to a non-detect. So yes, I can finally drink the water from my tap. Do you mind if I just take a couple extra seconds? This is a really big deal. I heard the timer. Okay, so.
Try to wrap it up for us.
Sure. So Keith DeVore is our water district manager, and he's also waiting on the EPA to approve a filtration unit that will work specifically with our water district. So a municipality with 12,000 water taps is much different of a requirement than one that's 425. So we have actually come that far that we're going to get a filtration unit which helps our livestock. PFAS goes into the chicken eggs. So when a badger took out my flock of 10, I haven't resupplied my chickens because that's kind of terrifying. So once all of this is through, then our livelihood in a very rural part of El Paso County will be better. And all of this is paid for by this Senate bill that took 3 years to develop money. I'd also like to point out that south of Platte, we do not have a hospital. North of Platte has 9, and our major doctor office, Optum, closed and moved out September 29th. We are in a healthcare crisis. And since 2016, it's been, 7 years, and we're finally getting more filtration opportunities in our county. This is still a major crisis happening that we need to pay more attention to. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you for that update and report. Thank you for your work. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda today? Hearing none in the room. Any online? Okay. Thank you very much. Item number 10.
Item number 10 is the called up consent calendar, and there are no items called up.
Item number 11.
Item 11 is department and committee reports, non-action items, and there are none.
Item 12.
Item 12 is the addendum, and there is no addendum today.
Item 13.
And item number 13 is the executive session, and there is no request for executive session.
Excellent. And with that, we are adjourned.